Wow. You know what that reminded me of?
Yeah, what?
Like when you were 6 years old, you were in the house screaming and crying.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't lying, son.
No, it's all good. You were actually a good child. I know a lot of people out there won't believe it, but you were.
I was actually a good child.
Yeah,
Well,
you were.
that's a good way to start Sims Complete. I'm your host, Matt Sims. That's my father, Phil Sims. Everyone's still
Father.
confused that I call you Big Phil or Philly or the Big Effer. Well, that's actually a Christopher nickname for you. I coined the phrase Big Phil, and then he turned it into the Big Effer. So sorry about that, big guy. Yeah.
You know, it never really fit, but as time goes on in my life, it's starting to fit.
Right.
Because, man, I can put weight on. Like, when you're young and you're growing up, you can't ever gain the weight.
Yeah.
And I guess when I turned what's really just happened in the last year or two. So if I want to put 10 pounds on, 2 days later, I got it.
Past year or two, huh?
Yeah.
What that's what you think, man.
Well, that's what I think when I try to put here's the dilemma I got in life.
What's that?
My suits got too big on me because they got so trim a couple years ago.
Okay.
So I refitted all the suits and got them tailored again and da-da-da. I went back and put the weight on, and now I have no suits that fit me. Literally none.
That's right.
Yeah. So
that's what you get. Yeah.
But I don't have to wear one every Sunday now. So I guess that's
you're good.
The big thing. Yeah. I got to go to this function tonight, and I'm in there trying suits on and just throwing them on the ground. Doesn't fit. Doesn't fit. Dang. Oh well. Let's get going. Right. What we got going on?
Hey, we got to do a little, advertising here first. Basketball fans, it's that time of year again. The NBA is back from opening tip-off to buzzer beaters. BetOnline has you cover the best odds, biggest promotions, and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams this season. Every game matters. BetOnline has every stat, matchup, breakdown, live odds to bet on during the game. And it's not just the NBA. BetOnline has everything from football, MLB playoffs to the NHL to political props. Head to the website today to get in the action. America's most trusted site for online wagering. Wagering? BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, Big Phil.
Yes.
Let's start with your team. Your team.
Oh, last night's game.
The New York Football Giants.
Yeah. Well, it was another rough weekend for New York football fans. The Jets and the Giants the Jets, man, that's one of those.
And the Yankees. Let's not
the
them.
Yankees too.
Leave them out.
I said football fans, son. You got to listen to me.
You're right. I wasn't listening, Dad, again.
No, it's Dad. Oh, you called me Dad. All right. So it was rough. And the game last night, the Giants, the Steelers are kind of hot, rolling along, playing well. Russell Wilson is there to, take us to the Super Bowl and everything. And the Giants had many chances. But just once again, it seems like when the moment gets right, where if they just make a couple plays, I shouldn't say that all the time because they did do it against the Cleveland Browns to win a game down there. But just couldn't do it. Made big mistakes at the wrong time. And I'll just go to one right away. The swinging gate. Now, how complicated is that? I threw a touchdown pass in college on that, so I love the play.
Yeah.
But all it is, we send the offensive line out there, and you count how many defensive players are there. And if they don't have enough, you throw the ball out there. Right. And I think when they first went out there, Pittsburgh just stood around and finally they moved a couple guys. I think they had 2, then it was 3. Then they throw, and all the offensive line of the Giants are standing around and so that was really bad.
Yeah, and I mean, what would you say was the issue on that football play? I mean, because from my vantage point when I'm watching the game, it seems like they're all prepared and ready to go. Even with the replay, the ball is snapped, and yet they're still looking at the line of scrimmage as if they were a decoy or something. So that's where I'm really confused. And that was probably the most visibly upset and PO'd we have ever seen Daniel Jones on a football field after that play, right? Because of what took place. There's a lot of conversation happening on the sidelines with him, Dayball, the crew. Where do you think that snafu? What happened there?
Well, you bring up a good point. Yeah, was it for Daniel Jones to hand the ball off? Was he supposed to run it? Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the second play that could be. But they had what they wanted outside. And this is my thought. I'm going to blame the offensive line. I mean,
Okay.
you're right. They stood around, and if you practice it twice during the whole week, it's so simple that you shouldn't be able to mess it up.
Right.
And the old offensive line, which generally, who they are, they're always, in tune to what they're supposed to do.
Right.
And they look over there, but you're right. They were looking back and very casual. So I don't know, Matt. I think it can be one of many, many things why the play went wrong.
And typically in those football plays, you have three options. You have the single receiver side into the boundary or to the bottom of your screen when we were watching it. Right. If you have a one-on-one option, okay, you could take that. Then you go into the middle of the field, right? It could be a quarterback designed run, something of that nature. And then there is the receiver running back screen to the top of the screen that has the wall by the offensive line. So there's typically three options on those type of football plays in that situation. And the biggest part of those plays being effective is the sense of urgency of breaking the huddle, getting lined up quickly, and being ready to go right away on the quick count. That's not like a, blue 42, and draw it out kind of snap count. That's get up, get set hut, and go. And that's where I was confused when we saw the replay. Yeah. That the ball is snapped, and yet that side acted as if they weren't going to. They weren't even part of the play. Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I got a little confused. And even with Daniel's reaction, I was like, wow, like you don't see those things too often. So that was a missed opportunity. The other big missed opportunity was the motion penalty that was called on Malik Neighbors early on in the football game. I mean, that was ticky-tack refereeing to me, honestly. The fact that he didn't start in a set position and then go in motion and I don't know. That maybe that's me being biased as a New York Giants fan a little bit too, but man, that was over officiating at its finest right there, and it really bothered me as a fan of the Giants.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
Same thing. I was very confused. I said, "Oh gosh, they have two guys moving." I didn't quite understand the rule, and I was trying to listen. Of course, there was a lot of noise in our.
Well, you understand the rule. You were trying to understand what it was that they saw.
Yeah. That's, I guess so. That's right. What I mean. So, and I got to tell you, we sit here this morning. I'm still a little confused about the whole thing. So.
I just, it's one of those things. Everyone gets set. Darius Slayton's ready. He's on the line of scrimmage. Yes, Malik Neighbors comes out. Does he get set for a whole 1,000 count? No, but he goes in motion. Everyone else was set. They snap the football while he's in motion, and they get called for an illegal formation because he wasn't set prior to. Okay. But we can go back to this weekend, the weekend before. I mean, there's countless plays where that happens. And I don't know, whatever it is, the referees in prime time seem to get very excited about being in primetime football and just seem to micromanage every single situation in those football games. I mean, there was we haven't been penalized. That was Joe Buck's thing. It's been a clean game. Then as soon as he said that, it was a flag literally 6 plays in a row. It was ridiculous. And just a frustrating moment right there because Manhertz gets the touchdown. From the little flat route off the play action, well-designed play to a guy that typically is the blocker on a lot of those run plays. They take advantage of it, and it gets called back.
Yeah, it was tough. It was. I think when you talk about these primetime games, I think the officials are more in tune to call different, or I don't want to say ticky-tack, but call it tighter. Because they know they're being graded by everybody, by fans, by people like us in the business, like the NFL. They're sitting in their thing. So there's a lot to it. And look, there's many other things that Pittsburgh did right, the Giants did wrong. Yeah. And I think there were times in the game, and I'm going to go on this Pittsburgh's defensive setup. When you have Highsmith and TJ Watt out there, that's the whole game. And it really was. They're blocking everything. They got some guys open. We had some big plays. We had a good, really good, I shouldn't say we, because, I'm trying to be respectful to the Steelers too. They play with emotion. They're well coached, all those things. But you got to find a way always to make sure that neither one of those guys disrupts the game. And that happened too many times. Right. And they're going to have some anyway. I know that. But in big moments, when you have a play set up or whatever, the number one thing always, you got to know that you can block them both on that play to execute a throw down the field or whatever. Daniel Jones, I didn't look up how many sacks he had and all that. I did write down
four sacks. Yep. 12 QB hits though. He really, he got hit a lot,
He took, and I don't look at it this way, Matt. Yeah, you're always going to get hit.
Yeah.
But I counted 5 oh, wow.
Yeah. They were,
as John Madden would say, decleaters. I don't know who started that phrase, but when both feet go up in the air, that's not a good sign. And I thought he played tough. I'll just go into that. Daniel Jones played tough, but he did miss, a couple things that he should have hit. And when the Giants, their offense, especially like all offenses, the margin of error is really, really small.
Yeah.
And they always seem to make they miss a few opportunities. They create something bad for themselves.
Right.
And that was kind of the difference in the game as I watched it.
Yeah. The one little pet peeve I have too, with just the performance on offense, and it starts with just like these simple things. We get these screen passes and they go for good chunks of yards and they're first down, they're drive starters, they're momentum builders for an offense. Illegal man downfield again. It's like that's one of those things where we've heard that now with this Giants offense, maybe close to 10 times this season. And it seems like all of them have been in, big moments or moments where at least you can feed off of the momentum of the play and it gets taken away. And now all of a sudden, all right, we're backed up again. Now we have to run a receiver screen just to get back into 2nd and 10 situations. And those things are killer. And I agree with you. I think Daniel Jones, he does a lot of good. And then there's a lot where you're just like, man, you're too good to miss these opportunities. Yeah. And, I kind of go back to his throwing motion again. I still think there's times with his throwing motion, right? His, quote unquote swing, right? As we make that golf analogy, where there seems to be that slight pull almost away as he's following through the throw. It's like he's trying to twist himself to create more power instead of just continuing to drive through it like a great boxer would, right, through a power punch. And that's where I feel like there's just missed opportunities every now and then on some of his throws because the ball seems to kind of go lower than what he's anticipating.
Yeah.
But then there's the post routes to Darius Slayton, the seam down to Theo Johnson late in the football game. So It's like you see it and it's there. And I guess that's what's most frustrating. Something that me and Bob Papa have discussed on Sirius XM on Airing It Out every Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 East Coast time, is he does things that you say this guy's a franchise quarterback. And then there's a few plays where you're like, man, it's hard to even quantify what it is that we're seeing sometimes because there's such good and then there's such, mediocre moments too.
Yeah. Let me say this first. Yeah, he made some great plays down the field, but here's my thing. There's not enough opportunities for him either. Right. Now, he could have thrown, when you pick a side, you want to throw it deep down the field. Who's getting bumped, at the line of scrimmage, that determines. Maybe once or twice in the game, I would have went the other way.
Yeah.
But, I have the ability to look at it on film before I decide that. And but I would always probably favor Malik Neighbors, but Darius Slayton, I'll go into this. That really, once again, a really good game, very aggressive, fast. He looks fast on the field, catches the football, and he just plays hard, man. I mean, it's like he's like starting his career over. That's almost what I see from him. And he's really into it. And I can see that on TV, and of course I can see it when I watch it a second time. But the other thing about the lineman downfield, it is an epidemic in the NFL. Oh my God, every game, screenplay, 20 yards, penalty, lineman downfield, or it's incredible. Yeah, I mean, they've been doing these things since camp. And it is the bad part of it is it's so easy to see by the official that
Right.
you're not going to get away with it. And
Right.
when I watch it, I just go, what was he thinking? He went down the line of scrimmage for one step. Then he 6 yards down, and they go, what are we talking about? You're 6 yards down the field. And they were tighter after that, but it wasn't all right. Now I'm like, all right, big deal. We missed the opportunity for that one great play because the lineman was downfield. So it's, and again, once again, the Giants, there they are. They got a new tackle out there. That's rough. I don't care. When you pick them up from another team and all that, try to get them ready quick.
I thought Hubbard played pretty well, actually. I thought he did a lot of good things.
Yes.
Given the situation and who he's up against.
Well, that's right.
He survived, I mean, he did some good things in the running game, that's for sure. Because I would say the one highlight or one of the main highlights of the night is Tyrone Tracy, and just what he's done. 20 carries for 145 yards, averages 7.3 a pop. He had a long of 45. He plays with great energy. He really quick decision maker. I think he sees, his blocks and the reads very well. And you could see that he has like a spark of, game breaking type of ability to him, which I think is really refreshing for this Giants offense.
Yeah, it is. Every game that I watch, every time I see him, I go, did he get faster? And I think it's, it's relaxing, knowing what he's doing even better than before. And even for running backs, just like a quarterback, like catching a pass, whatever it is, you need reps. And you can see the Giants go, he's our man.
Right.
And Devin Singletary might get in there to give him a little time to catch his breath or something like that. But really, really good game by him. And when he got in the open field, I go, is he going to make it? And when he outran everybody, I was like, wow, this is something we haven't seen since Saquon has been gone. But so, that's my take there. On the defensive side, real quick, they played hard. Russell Wilson against them, he played pretty well, I thought, overall. They have to be excited about that. But the defense, once again, Deonte Banks, good for the coaches, and I'm sure teammates, they're all like, hey, if you're going to play that way, then you just can't be on the field. And when they took him out, that said something right there. You fight with the people that are willing to fight and do it.
Right.
And but you did it. You talked about it before we came on. You go, oh, Azeez Ojulari. Oh my gosh! Once again, consistently getting close to the quarterback, getting a sack, and him and Brian Burns, and then there's Dexter Lawrence too. So overall, that defensive line once again, I thought played pretty well.
Yeah, and it's I think something we hear. Every year in the season, we're reminded, all of a sudden there's this pass rusher who kind of just like figures it out all of a sudden. And this is a guy that I believe fourth year, correct? I want to say his fourth year.
Yeah, it might be.
Third or fourth year, I think, out of Georgia. And this is a guy with all the reps, all that kind of stuff. He's starting to really put it together and play well. And he's got a tremendous motor. I think that's what I really enjoy about watching him and how he plays. Plays extremely hard. He's got a lot of quick twitch to him, really explosive off the line of scrimmage. And him and Brian Burns have been doing great. And Brian Burns seems to be so close to just like doing what TJ Watt did for the Steelers, and just kind of sealing the game with the strip sack and fumble recovery. And he just, just kind of just missing out on those opportunities to be that guy for the Giants right now.
Yep, he could be that guy, that's for sure. And I tell you, I've watched every game like you do, and he is not disappointed. The New York Giants or the fans. For the fans out there, I know he's making a lot of money, but if you really watch him, it's every play. He does not. It is to the wall. Right. And I love that about him. And it's just a perfect match to go with the interior defensive line. And now they got some depth with Ojulari on the other side. He had some times last year where you go, oh, wow, okay, what about this guy? And now I think you said it right. He put it together, and it's probably the best part of the New York Giants football team right now is that defensive line. Just they're kind of delivering almost every single week.
Yeah,
And
it's
my
them.
last thing,
It's Tracy, Tyrone Tracy, and his impact, and him just being a late round guy, being impactful he is on the offense. What else were you going to say, big guy?
well, yeah, I'll just go on what you're saying. And the tight end Johnson. I mean, come on,
Theo
Theo
Johnson's legit.
Johnson.
Really,
He
really like him a lot. I think he is
runs well,
runs
good,
well. He can block. You're right.
good target, everything like that. And I forgot I had one more point, but I've already forgot what it was.
Well, I
So
guess the one thing too is, all right. So Giants self-inflicted wounds on offense. Daniel Jones not as sharp as he should be at times, and then there's moments where you're like, okay, it's really good looking, and that's where it gets a little frustrating with Daniel Jones, right? It's just that kind of that Jacqueline Hyde like nature to him when he's playing, because you could see that he has the talent to be a franchise quarterback, and it's there. It just doesn't put it all together at moments, right? And of course, everyone by that comment will freak out on me for saying that. But you watch, only time will tell with, as we've seen with some of these other quarterbacks in the NFL who get second to third opportunities, with certain situations. But the other aspect, right, is the special teams, giving up the touchdown to Calvin Austin, 73-yard punt return. So it's like inefficient on offense at times, inability to make big plays when they need to, special teams giving up a touchdown. And then, I would say for the Giants defense, played well overall.
right.
But, I don't think never really forced Russell Wilson to be I would say super uncomfortable throughout the football game. Not to the same extent that Daniel Jones was in the pocket. So it's like I know the defensive line is playing better. Najee Harris still had over 100 yards rushing. But, Russell Wilson was able to, make clean decisions and play relatively clean and upright for the majority of the game, it seemed like.
Yeah, well said. My last thing is I thought Brian Daboll, we talk about this every week. I think they're trying to expand the offense and the thought process more and more. I thought they had a lot of good ideas against the Steelers. Some of it hit, some was there and they didn't hit, but whatever. Overall, I was like, wow, the play calling, I wasn't sitting there going, oh, don't do that. Yeah. None of that watching the game. So that was, I hate to always say it this way, that was encouraging from the head coach.
Right.
And I do, I heard Boomer Esiason talk about this on the radio today, and he was right. Brian Daboll seems his personality's coming out more and more. And it might be anger or whatever, but I don't care.
I like it.
My last thing, and I'm not going to say anything else about the Giants. There's nothing like, and it too, you're sitting in that meeting room, and when the head coach walks in, you go, he's the man. Right. In other words, it's not like, it's just, who he is. Yeah. But he's the leader of the franchise, and he's going to help us, win games if we can just do what he tells us. I mean, so that's what I feel about Brian Daboll.
Yeah, and it's real. And I guess to finalize the thought with Giants, Steelers, good for the Giants. Good red zone defense, holding the Steelers 0-4 in that red zone area. Giants offense, on the other hand, 0-3 in the red zone. So the red zone struggles continue. Of course, lost the turnover battle 2-1. The other issue really was just, time of possession was equal, I would say, but the other issue was just the penalties, right? So the Giants had 11 penalties for 65 yards. Right. And again, just in moments where it's big, it's important, it's momentum building, those type of things. And so just, that's the state right now of Big Blue and where they're at as a team.
Usually the more talented team has less penalties than the other team because the less team has to cheat sometimes to try to get it done. That's true. Yeah. Good teams, they can win the battle without doing the extra grab or whatever you want to say. So that's it. So I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. All right. Real quick before we do that. All right. Melon hats. They're durable. They're comfort. They fit all sizes. They got everything from just the workout hats to the thermal hats that they have for the winter time. They're very durable hats that are machine washable. You need them to stay warm. They got you with the thermal hats. You need to stay cool while you're working out. They got you as well. Durable hats. That's Melon, MELIN.com. Put the hat to the test today. Go to melon.com. Check out their hats. A lot of selections. Big Phil wears them all the time for his workouts.
Yes.
You know, he looks pretty good in them too. You know, so he's not a fashion icon, but Melon definitely helps him look that much better.
Oh, wow. Thanks for that slap in the face. That was nice.
All
All
right,
right.
big guy.
Well,
Let's
let's
do
go.
it.
Let's go to the other New York team. Man, that was frustrating too to watch that game on Sunday. Gosh, early in the game, I went, "Oh, the Jets are just. This is going to be a walk now. They got it."
I
And
love
then,
I walked into the house and there you are sitting watching the game. And you look over, you see me, and you're like, Matt, you watching this? This gotta tell you, it's hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch.
oh, you talking about just can we? How many mistakes can we make to lose
Yeah,
a game? And it's kind of what it is. Well, let's start with this. I thought Aaron Rodgers overall played really well.
yeah,
You can't look at it and say, "Oh, I don't like that decision or this decision." You might be able to argue a couple, but overall, he made the right decisions. Made some really, really good ones. Like, wow, how did you get to that read?
right.
And I thought he threw the football really, really well too.
Probably one of
So
the better throwing games I think that he's
yeah,
had
it
this
was.
season, as far as just the way that it looked, the how it came off his hand when he was throwing it. You know, the accuracy of it, the power of it too at times. The touchdown throw to Conklin. You know, so you got to see a little bit of old Aaron Rodgers where
Wow.
he just absolutely
Yeah.
rifled it in there. And Conklin, you know, great catch and focus there because he got tattooed there at the end of that football play. What else do you think from the game, big guy?
Well, I didn't really write too many stats down. There were just so many plays that you just go, wow. But, Garrett Wilson, I thought that was, a great step, very positive, all that.
5 for
Uh,
113 on the day.
yeah. Too, well, yeah, I think on offense, they kind of played a solid game. I think when I look at the game, when I looked at it, because I wrote so many notes, I don't even know what the hell I wrote about it. I'm confused. I just got pages of what? But
We got to get you a Sharpie for those notes now, dog.
no, I got to get bigger writing, but I got to just keep it simpler because I write down every play. Oh, fourth play in the third quarter. Okay, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I write so small too, which is stupid.
Right.
But I think a couple things. The New England defense against the Jets, I was very surprised, and it kind of changed a little bit during the game sometimes. But they were like, the hell with the Jet receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing man to man, and they were all over them a lot of times.
Right.
And I think that kind of caught me by surprise because Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, is like they got a few guys there that you have to worry about. And I thought New England's defense was all over it at times. And if Aaron Rodgers wasn't throwing such great passes in some of those instances, they
Yeah.
wouldn't have got it done. But
Right.
yeah, I think that it really caught me. I was like, and blitzing, really mixing up coverages, but a lot of man-to-man, just daring or saying the Jets just couldn't execute well enough to beat us in that respect. And quite honestly, the Jets should have scored more points than they did.
Right. And I agree. I think the Patriots, they kind of took we're going to play really aggressive at times. And then the switch up was like some of the pressure looks, and then let's play soft, and kind of counter it that way. Right. In certain moments of the game to try to trick Aaron Rodgers. And I think for the most part, it was, decently effective. Besides the fact that, like you said, Aaron Rodgers really was seeing the field well, making good decisions, throwing the football accurately and powerfully down the field. The patience of the run game was better than what it had been for the New York Jets, and even though it wasn't like the greatest average per carry, like we have discussed multiple times throughout the year, kind of got to run it just to run it anyway, even for Aaron Rodgers, just to take the pressure off of him, the offensive line, as you would say, let the O-line just hit the defense from time to time and wear them out that way. So I think that was beneficial. So trending in the right direction, you would say, offensively, yes?
Yes. And not only that Aaron played well, protected really well at most of the game.
Yeah.
There was more to it, just like I said about the Giants. I thought there were more looks, thought process, whatever you want to call it, by the New York Jets, just more plays for the defense to worry about.
Right.
And so I really like seeing that. They were trying to get the ball down the field. Yeah. I mean, Garrett Wilson, Jesus, he made a couple good catches in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So the Offensive line overall protected well. Rodgers moved around a few times, made some plays. Just there was just some opportunities, like the 2-point conversion that turned out to be really big in the game.
Yeah.
Huge. It's wide open. They
Right.
blitz. The New England blitzes. Well, that's what bothered me a few times about the blitz. They had no chance of picking them up. I don't know what they were doing. Here's 2 blitzers coming from the quarterback's left, but we're all going to roll right to protect. And even Aaron Rodgers, who loves throwing off balance and all those other things, even he couldn't deal with it.
Yeah,
and get it done sometime. But the 2-point conversion was a big play. New England won the battle there. And then,
I guess the other big moment, or moments, I should say, is the missed field goal by Zuerlein, and the 2 missed extra points would put them in the position now to have to do those things. And that's something that, special teams, hey, it hurt the Giants, it hurt the Jets. And you hear the cliche all the time, playing complementary football, one phase leading into the other. And of course, when the Jets put it together offensively, all right, now the special teams fails them, and in this one, it was really frustrating, because those are things that now in the NFL, we expect those to be automatic. And I want to say the field goal that he missed, Zuerlein, was maybe 43, 42.
Yeah.
And that's, that's got to be.
That's an extra point for these guys. They're unbelievable.
Right. So that's where it's like a little disappointing in that regard, to say that they played better on offense, did some good things to be positive about, and yet special teams came up short for some of them.
I can't think of the kicker's name.
Greg Zuerlein?
Greg Zuerlein, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, one time the wind was left to right, noticeable. Right. I'm watching the flags. So he tries to kick it just a little left and let the wind bring it in.
Right.
Well, as he kicks it, it hooks.
Yeah.
So he missed it left. But I was like, wow, it was close enough where it just busted and hit it right down the middle. And don't worry about the wind. So I'm sure, the wind is always a big factor with these place kickers. But you're right. That was as big a point of the football game as any. So let's turn it over. I want to talk a little bit about the Jets defense.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to read. I did write all these down. I think I told you yesterday.
I mean, with Drake May getting hurt early in the football game with a concussion on that scramble,
game's over.
Right.
Game's over. Did you think that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought for sure, because he before he got injured, I was like, man, he looks pretty damn good. Looks pretty comfortable out there. He was moving well. It ran for the touchdown. So hopefully he's back sooner rather than later, because I'm excited and really, really like what I've seen so far from Drake.
Yeah, he had a presence on the field. He was going to be a pain in the rear end, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Let me just give a few plays.
Let's go.
Jets, third quarter. It's 13-7. The Jets, they're at the plus 17 on defense. The Jets are leading. They're on defense. 2nd and 15 to go. They allow a completion outside for 1 yard.
Right.
And then no tackle, and they go down to the 1 yard line. And of course, New England from there scores to put them in good position. On the drive that we're talking about the game, 3rd and 11, the Jets on first down, they send an all-out blitz.
Yep.
But everybody covering their guys was so far off the line of scrimmage that Jacoby Brissett threw the ball to the tight end, and he catches it and gets the first down.
Yeah, Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, is that who it was?
Yeah.
And then I think the other big one is when they let Jacoby Brissett get out of the pocket and run.
That was the one to me that was unacceptable. But, it just – that one drove me nuts, to let him scramble like that. But –
yeah. Well, but let me give the rest. So
go ahead.
They blow a coverage. I can't remember who caught the pass. The receiver from the left side by the Patriots comes across the formation, across the field. Everybody's back kind of playing zone or whatever. Yeah. Nobody follows the receiver. I think Sauce Gardner just says, like, you got him. Nobody picked him up coming across. Big play, big first down. And, of course, the killer of all was the throw to the guy that just couldn't catch a pass. Keyshawn Butte. The Jets have a 6-man. Yeah, you laugh about saying it. They got a 6-man blitz.
Yep.
And somehow Jacoby Brissett stood in there and hung in there, got hit at the knees and his ankles, and still made the throw. And Keyshawn made the best catch of his career to kind of keep things going. And all of a sudden, when that happened, you just go, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, they're going to blow it. Yeah,
it's just meant to be here. Well, sometimes you just can't stop it. And you're right; they went in and scored and ate up enough clocks where Aaron Rodgers didn't have a chance to come back and help them win the game.
Yeah, I mean, for the Jets now going forward, because everyone we had this penciled in. This is a win for the Jets. This is where they get back on track. They're going to leave New England 3-5, feeling good about themselves. All right, now they're 2-6, same record as the New England Patriots. And where do they go from here? What is the Jets' biggest issue, you would say, at the current moment now?
Biggest issue?
Yeah.
Listen, I would say, especially for the New England game, I was more disappointed in the defense than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. We got freedom. We're leading. We're playing against a quarterback who does, he's not playing well.
Right.
And they struggle big time on offense, New England does. So now close the door.
Yeah.
And they had many chances in the game, in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, and they never made the play that was the difference to give them a chance to win. But I wouldn't bring it up that simple, but for the fact there were many opportunities to do this. It's not like, they should have stopped this one play. Mm-hmm. No, they had 5 or 6 plays that determined the outcome of that game. The Jets made none of them, and New England made them all.
And it's amazing, too, because the Jets and the Giants are almost mirror images of each other, because the same thing with the Jets, they're playing good defense for 90% of the game. Like, they're doing good things. And then in the crucial moments, they're giving up, some head scratchers where you're like, wow, you just let a team that you're really kind of outplaying and way better than back into the football game. And I think that's what's most frustrating for both the Giants and the Jets right now.
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. There you go. The kicks, you can look at those and say that was the reason they lost.
I mean, it's a big part of it.
Yeah, it was really big. And
yeah,
I did have it written down, but I think the one thing I took out of it, the Jets defense let the football team down.
Right.
It's supposed to be, we're going to the Super Bowl because of our defense.
Right.
And we haven't seen that really this year.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a game where you just go, oh my gosh, you can't get a first down against this group.
No.
And it's I don't know. It's very puzzling.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think the truth of the matter is yes, the offense, they have a lot of firepower. They got a lot of weapons. We have yet to see it really all come together and be like this unstoppable machine. On the same side, we thought the defense was the dominant aspect of the team, really where they were going to, obviously be the cornerstone of this team. And the truth is that they're really maybe just not as good as we thought they were. And that's really the state of this franchise right now. And it doesn't get any easier because now they have a home game coming up on Thursday Night Football against the Houston Texans. And this is a team who, has struggled at times, but, still a really good football team, a tough football team that knows how to win some of these close games. And this will be an interesting matchup for the New York Jets.
Well, think about this for the Jets. This is my last thought. They got Denver. The game is there. Defense, just let's go. End the game and let's go on.
No doubt.
Okay, and they don't do it. And then we got New England. Come on, let's just end the game. We got so many chances. Oh, Drake May looked great in that opening drive. Oh, he's out of the game. Now let's really put it down on him.
Right.
And that didn't work either. So
yeah.
I'm trying to think who else. What other games they've really?
Yeah, I mean, so started the season, of course, with the loss to San Francisco, won in a two-game winning streak against Tennessee, at Tennessee, then New England, right? And then it started with the Denver game, right, where the 10-9 loss. They followed that up over there overseas against the Minnesota Vikings, lost that one 23-17, where Aaron really did not play his best football. Then really, I think the big one you're talking about that you forgot about was the Buffalo Bill loss, where they lost 23-20. So that was a big one. Outclassed by the Pittsburgh Steelers the same way that the New York Giants did. And then back again to this tough loss to the New England Patriots. Just, finding different ways to lose the football game to teams that they really, should have beaten in certain situations, especially here with the Patriots, with the Broncos, and then even with the Bills. They had opportunities to beat them that night too.
This team was set up to win on defense and for the offense to put them in good positions to go ahead and win the game.
Yeah.
And the offense, they haven't quite done their part, but that's the way the team was set up. The defense hasn't dominated. Well, I shouldn't say that. They've had some dominating games, but
they've had dominating moments.
Yeah. So, that's it. Now I'm going to look at it differently next week when I look at the Jets. I'm going to start kind of looking at groups, the linebackers, the whatever, just to get a better feel for and be a little more detailed in my evaluation of the games.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so now, big guy, we did great with the Jets, the Giants. Enough of that. We're not going to talk about the Yankees. Let's move on to some positive notes now. Do you have any positive notes, or you got something to gripe about?
Well, they're always positive and a lot of negatives. That's football. If somebody plays good, somebody had to play bad.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a quarterback who played for Bill Parcells. That sounds like.
Both teams really played well today. What? How can both teams play well? One lost. All right, here we go. Instead of doing the quarterback thing, we're going to make these quick.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, the first thing is I'm going to bring up the Hail Mary. Now, okay. And there's so many things to talk about. I'm not going to get into them all. But your brother, Christopher, did bring this up, and I'm going to steal it from him because I went and watched it. And I go, let me just see what he's talking about, because he can get a little over the top sometimes with his evaluation of a situation.
Okay.
And he goes, oh, yeah, okay, it was great. They did it. Washington, they threw the Hail Mary for the touchdown and all the good coaching. They threw the outcut. That was terrible by the Bears, not to whatever. But here's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
How many holding penalties, blatant, unbelievable holding penalties, were there by the Washington offensive line?
This is something, though, that we see this in the NFL all the time. And now we only notice it when it's completed in this situation. But Hail Mary situations, it's almost guaranteed that there's holding. It's almost guaranteed that there's some sort of pass interference. I mean, there's pass interference every time that a Hail Mary is thrown. There's never a penalty thrown in that play. So It is one of those one-off plays where the refs, right, literally just go, yep, we're going to wait and see what happens here and go from there.
I understand no pass interference because everybody's jumping for the ball and all that.
Yeah.
Let it go. Okay.
Yeah.
The holdings, but the Bears are going to have a few guys get their uniforms fixed because hell, they tore them off.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was I got to tell you who they are.
And the other thing is, too, is they didn't even sell it. They didn't even try to, now, of course, they're exhausted because the play lasted 16 seconds.
Right.
But, hey, let's go. Be demonstrative. Yeah. Throw your arms up. Come on. Hey, they're holding me here. So we didn't even see that either.
I think they were too tired to do that.
Yes, I mean, yeah.
The guys, Andrew Wiley, he was the right tackle. He did a good job. He definitely got a hold of a few the shoulder pads, and if they lost the grip, they just went back and re-gripped it. Right. And the other was the center, Tyler Biadasz. Again, I mean, it was pretty blatant.
Yeah.
These weren't just, I don't know if I'd call it. No, if it was, you said it right. If it was a game, there'd have been 20 flags on the field.
Right.
I mean, if it was a different situation instead of the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
But I will admit, the Bears really made some mistakes, and we won't get into all that. So, but you did a good job describing. They just won't throw a holding penalty flag there no matter what.
I really do. It's just one of those odd football plays where we're going to over officiate every play except for that one. And that's the truth of it. I really think, I don't know what it is about the refs where they're just like, all right, let's let them play in those situations. And maybe because the probability of the completion actually happening are really relatively low, no matter what. The other issue that I had with this football play, but you're right, there's no holding calls. But then there's the back judge calling a holding call on the Giants on a 20-yard run by Tyrone Tracy. Never seen a back judge throw a holding call in my life, but okay. That's just another issue that I have. But the real problem, I think, for the Chicago Bears was, how do you give up a 10-yard speed out completion when there's no timeouts left for the Washington Commanders.
Well, not only that, go ahead.
But you don't need to play prevent defense to stop the Hail Mary 80 yards away. Like, I understand, yes, but you want to make sure you don't get beat deep. But can we get two guys on either side about 8 to 10 yards deep, kind of reading the quarterback, playing the sideline, and at least making them sweat by throwing that football? Because if you tackle them in bounds, or if you throw another incompletion, that's 4 to 5 seconds off the clock again. Or if he's tackled in bounds, the game is over. And that's where I feel like the Bears made the mistake, was the play before that, right, with not defending the sideline for the cheap 5 or 10-yard completion that they gave up.
Yeah, a lot of things. I listen to a lot of people on TV talk about it. Rex Ryan was pretty good with it. He goes, first, I'm rushing 5 guys.
Yeah.
And he's not going to escape. And, that's it. We're taking him down. And then you're right. The pass you're talking about, the 10 or 12-yard outcut, if they don't give them that, then you're not going to reach the end zone with the throw, which they didn't anyway, but it got batted into the end zone. So that would have been different too. A lot of errors there. And this is something every coach at every level should be going over some of these things. And I'm sure the Bears did it, but many also could have called timeout to rethink and let's really get organized.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. So, hey, those little things lose you games. And that was one that lost one for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, there's different strategies for those type of situations for coaches.
A lot of them work. They all work.
And a lot of them work. Yeah. And again, the percentages play in the fact that it's most likely going to be an incomplete pass. But of course, here we are evaluating it because it was a touchdown. And for the Bears, my biggest issue with you guys really is that you got outplayed for 95% of the football game. You actually get back into the game, and then you decide to hand the football off to your 6th offensive lineman on the goal line when you have Johnson, who is a 6 foot, 235-pound running back. I mean, what are you doing? I mean, don't be silly, man. I mean, that is just like, big game, big play. Hey, let's give it to the lineman who hasn't touched the football in 10 years. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
But
that was rough. All right, we got to get through these. So I'm going to get through. So we'll keep our answers short.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson. Man, I'm tired. I'm just tired.
Wow.
So give me a quick thought on that. We're talking about a quarterback, a young quarterback, and everything that goes with being a quarterback in the NFL who's drafted very high, 4th pick of the draft. So go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you're the franchise. It's unacceptable. I don't care if you check the play at the line of scrimmage and hand the damn ball off. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But to check yourself out of the football game, it's mind-boggling. It really is. And I hate to say it, but Anthony, really appreciate it. I think that we can still make you a franchise quarterback one day, but you're not starting this weekend. Like, it's that simple. Like, how can I say that my team can feel good about this guy when he's checking himself out of the game for a 10-31 performance that day? That's just, to me, it's unacceptable. And hey, if he's tired, that's great, but just take a knee, hand it off, do something. Don't check yourself out.
Shane Steichen has got to make this decision, and the team is waiting and watching and hearing. They want to hear it. Yeah. What's it going to be? Now, they could say you're going to play, but, boom, get up and apologize. There's many things. It's a great learning tool for Anthony Richardson. These kind of things, believe it or not, Matt, I think will toughen you up and really make you get involved and just, you're working hard. Well, I got to do more. I got to work harder and whatever it is. I think in some way, this is going to help him. Yeah, because it's been talked about nonstop on everything I listen to. I'm in the car. I got to hear it. It's all over TV. They're talking about it. So I think this is, in its own way, take a really bad situation and somehow let's turn this into a good one for a young quarterback. That's just my thought.
And I hope so, because we know that he has talent. We see the flashes of this unbelievable talent that he is. He is a great athlete. He has shown toughness at times with the way that he runs the football. But still, just
All right.
That's a tough look, man. That's not a great look for your football team.
It is. All right, let's go quick here. Jameis Winston. Man, yes, Jameis Winston, 27 of 41, 334, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Oh my gosh. And his interviews after the game were awesome too.
Yeah.
I mean, he said all the right things, and he's got an energy that's, that you'd love to see, because he can back up the energy with throws down the field, and his teammates love him and everything. This was a good moment for him. So what's your quick thought?
Yeah, I love it. And, Jameis is just like, he's awesome. He's almost throws a pick, to Kyle Hamilton, then comes right back, throws the touchdown next play, so it's just, that's what's great about him. He's just going to keep playing no matter what. And good to see Cleveland with that type of energy too at the quarterback position. Yeah,
it was great. Jordan Love gets hurt. They were nervous at first. It doesn't sound like now it's that bad, a growing injury. But so we hope he gets well. When he's in there, Jordan Love is like the quarterback you're scared of, because he will throw that damn thing 50 yards down the field every chance he gets. So you got to worry about that. But my whole thought, Malik Willis comes into the game.
Yeah.
4 for 5, 56 yards, 1 touchdown, ran for 23 yards in a really brief stint. Man, Green Bay, they got a really good starting quarterback, a MVP guy or potential. And Malik Willis, that's 3 games now. He's come in and not done his job. Really, really well has done his job.
Excelled. Yes.
Excelled. That's the word. Good.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great story. It's just great by the front office too. It's turned out to be one of the better trades of the year so far, because he has come in and played extremely well with Jordan Love being out. We've seen QBs go down and the season is absolutely over with the backup. He has done a great job of playing tough, making good decisions. And even that he checked into that big play call where I think he threw it to Tucker Kraft on that little wide sneak play. So really good for Malik Willis. And he's winning games for them now. And you know what? He's also helping them with, hey, we can trade this guy in the future for, a higher draft pick, because of how good he's playing.
No, you're not going to trade him.
I know. Yeah. But I'm saying he's helping his stock, right?
Yes.
As far as,
yes.
Hey, if you were a team looking for a quarterback or something like that, you'd probably be calling Green Bay this offseason.
Good point. Yes, good point, because there'll be teams, trying to move on. Hey, real quick now, I'm going to just do you. We got the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. They're first in the NFC West. Just a quick thought about Kyler Murray.
Played extremely well. It's just it's good to see too, just like his ability to hang in there. He throws more accurate footballs off his back foot, Phil. But while he's being hit or pushed back more than anyone, and his accuracy in those situations, literally hit the same play on 4th down to Marvin Harrison that they ran against the San Francisco 49ers to get back in that football game with that little corner route. And he threw it soft early, and Marvin Harrison did a great job. And really good to see Marvin Harrison get involved with this offense. He had over 100 yards. And McBride also had 100 yards. So,
McBride, sneaky star in the league. Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. And the cool thing too is that the Arizona Cardinals, I think 45 straight attempts to win 2 in a row, failed attempts to win 2 in a row. That was their first back-to-back win in over 45 attempts. So pretty amazing.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
All right. The last one is, I'll just do real quick. Dak Prescott. Lost again to San Francisco. And I would say this, I'm tongue in cheek, of course. Dak, when Frisco comes up on the schedule, just fake an injury, because it just, there's just some teams that you can't play well against. I had one, it was the Eagles. I mean, it just, no matter what, I could go 10 for 24 with 2 interceptions and go, wasn't that bad. That was pretty good. That's how the expectations were low. But boy, he's had a lot of tough games there against Frisco, and kind of had it going early, but then it turned, and man, it was a tough look there at the end of the game for Dak Prescott. So that's it.
It was. And so we had our games of the week last week, and that was San Francisco, Dallas. You took San Francisco, I took Dallas. I don't know what the hell I was thinking on that one. So lesson learned there. My old wise samurai father. And the other game that we picked was the Buffalo Bills and the Seattle Seahawks. You picked the Seattle Seahawks.
I did.
Yep. And I took the Buffalo Bills. So we both showed each other how silly we can be with our thought processes and picking these football games. But here, just want to add this last thing. Chera Bundy. Have Chera Bundy on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday. Chera Bundy. It reduces inflammation, helps damage joints, muscles, and organs. The antioxidants are all fruits and vegetables, so it's healthy for you. It also helps damaging free radicals in your blood vessels and ruptures that you have. And the melatonin, Phil, the melatonin, it balances the sleep and the wake cycle, so it comes fast and stays longer. It helps you with the melatonin. Chera Bundy, Monday through Sunday. Drink it. Any final thoughts, big guy?
No, that was interesting. No, it was good. Sorry to rush. I got to go.
Hey,
everything. And
get out of here.
Good. Next week, I'm telling you, when we break this down, I'm going to have all the answers.
All right. Now, hey, big Sharpie, big letters, Phil. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I know better. You know, all you got to do is write one word down. You don't, that's everything. And I got, I got them like it's, whatever. Too many words. Can't. The problem is I don't have my glasses. I can't even read what I write. So
all right,
terrible.
All right.
Hey,
what do we
say? I gotta go.
You the man. You the man.
Yeah.
This is Sims Complete. We'll see you next time.